Hello, hi, good morning, everybody. Uh, Welcome everybody to our live stream demoing the BeED LMS for today. So let me introduce myself. My name is Adam, and I am one of the academic team members at BeED. So, a little introduction for those of you who didn't watch the stream yesterday. BeED is a company providing pedagogical online learning solutions for clients, and we are a company based off in Malaysia. So, our main center of operation is generally in the Southeast Asian region, and for today, specifically, I'll be showing you guys the BeED learning management system specifically. Okay, so let me just get my screen up. Okay, so for today, we'll be exploring how BeED learning management system can actually help you in bridging the gap between educators and learners in terms of communication, in terms of learning, and such. Uh, Furthermore, what I'd like to show you today is also how BeED learning management system can bridge the gap between educators as well. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So first, what we'll be looking at in the BeED LMS for today is the curriculum builder as well as the grade book. So upon logging into BeED learning management system, you will find that you're faced with this module selector. So in the BeED learning management system, our system is divided into three separate modules, which is the admin panel, which is not viewable on my screen now. The admin panel is where you can set up your institutions, you can set up your classrooms, as well as add accounts or delete accounts. And then you have the curriculum builder, which allows you to create curriculum documents and share it with your peers. And lastly, we have the gradebook, which is the main educator and learner interface that we will have a look at later on. So since admin panel is not included as part of the module, let's have a look at the curriculum builder and how the curriculum builder can help you to bridge the communication gap between educators and their peers, as well as their higher ups. So this is the main page of the curriculum builder, and currently we are in my library, which contains documents that is owned or created by me. And secondly, we will have a look at the account library. So the account library contains documents owned by the institution. Okay, so it is a shared library of resources for educators to refer to as well as to use in their curriculum. And third, we have the Assign Documents tab. And this tab tells me what documents that I need to work on as an educator. And as you can see here, currently one of my document is waiting for approval by one of my curriculum directors. So let's go back to my library and have a look at my document here. So this is a lesson document, and I can choose to share the document directly into the account library for my other peers to see. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to create documents and share it with other educators, other future educators. And furthermore, it actually allows you to borrow documents from the account library, and it allows you to edit aspects of the documents to be reshared back to your peers. And secondly, let's have a look at the account library. So we'll be having a look at this in the curriculum director's point of view first. In the curriculum builder, you you have the capability to create 9 separate types of documents. Okay, so first we have the assessment rubric, and then we have the learner skills rubric as well as the learner traits rubric. So the BeED LMS allows you to create specific rubrics for you to evaluate learners, and one way you can do this is by creating a rubrics document targeting either skills, specific assessments within the learning management system, within your curriculum, or even targeting specific traits. So as you can see here, we currently are in the ATL skills document, and you can see that my rubrics document is currently filled with uh, specific aspects that I want my educators to focus on. For example, critical thinking skills. Okay, so let's go back. Secondly, the curriculum builder also allows a curriculum director to build syllabus documents, objectives, as well as specific lessons. Okay, so once you have all these documents created, the BeED LMS allows you to combine these 9 types of documents into one giant document called the curriculum document, as you can see in green. So this document contains all the curriculum documents that you are using within your institution. So as someone who trains our clients to use the curriculum builder, what I find is that the clients tend to have curriculum documents located everywhere within their institution. For example, the syllabus document could be found in another person's Google Drive and such. So it's actually quite hard for them to locate these documents, for them to create the documents in the BeED LMS. So through the curriculum document, what this allows you to do is it allows you to upload all the currently used documents within your institution. And as you can see here, any educators within your institution will be empowered to find the documents that is targeted to specific courses. So the curriculum document is divided into specific courses as well as specific segments. So if you can see here, I have the diploma program. I also have a segment created for IGCSE, middle years, primary years, as well as one for professional development. So in the LMS, the educators can also be assigned a role, and one of those roles is the educator can also be learners in their own institutions. So this allows them to act as learners for professional development courses, and through this way, a curriculum director or a head of department can evaluate educators in their teaching skills. Okay, so for today, what we are looking at is the middle years program, level 1 mathematics. So at the bottom of my page, I can see that there are currently 5 specific documents involved within this course. And I can even click on the document to have a look at what sort of topic is involved within the course, as you can see. And I can also look at the learning objectives involved with mathematics teaching, as you can see here. So once the curriculum documents are ported into the curriculum, what this allows the head of department or the curriculum director to do is it allows them to create unit plans for each course. to the right hand side of my screen here. So if we click on one of these unit plans, we can see what criterias, what strands are being selected for this specific unit plan. So as you can see, in the course section earlier, we've currently had a transformation of sorts in the layout of the page. So clicking on show chosen criteria, this tells me what sort of aspects of the syllabus or objective that I should focus on within one unit plan. So of course, this bridges the gap between curriculum directors, heads of departments, as well as educators on what they should focus on in each unit plan. So clicking on unit plan 2 allows me to have a look at what specific aspects of my curriculum documents that I should focus on. For example, within the ATL skills, in unit plan 2, I should focus on research and thinking. And of course, this allows you to also tell your educators what sort of learner traits that they should focus on, as well as what assessment rubrics criteria are involved within each unit plan. So now let's get back to unit plan 1. And let's have a look at how lessons are conducted within the LMS. So if I go ahead and click on number of lessons, I can actually have a look at the lessons involved within unit plans. So the other thing that I would like to mention is, as a curriculum director or a head of department, you can also choose to assign the unit plan to any teachers that you want, so that the teachers will be tasked with monitoring the progress of the unit plans. And due to the collaborative nature of the LMS, you can also assign specific documents to be created by each educator. So again, going back to the Curriculum Builder home page, we have the My Library and the Account Library. So this allows educators to upload documents directly into the curriculum document. And of course, this is all controlled by the curriculum director or the head of department. And it has to be approved by the curriculum director. So let's go ahead and click on one lesson. And as you can see, this is the lessons list. And currently we have three separate lessons within the unit plan 1 of mathematics. So as a curriculum director, what you can do is you can actually have a look at the class, the specific days that a lesson is being held. You can also look at who is conducting the lesson and such. So if we click on one of the lesson, we can then see towards the bottom of the page which aspects of the curriculum documents have been targeted by the educator who created this lesson. So as a curriculum director or a head, or a head of department, if we click on show chosen criteria and such, we can actually have a look at what aspects of the curriculum that this lesson is focusing on. So this allows for greater transparency between educators and their higher ups as well as their peers on what aspects they should focus on within each lesson. So what this also opens up to opportunities for other educators to come in the case of an absent educator due to sickness and such. This allows for any of their peers to come in, have a look at the lesson for today, and have a look at the traits, skills, or even which assessments they should focus on within each lesson. So this lets you provide a sort of lens for educators to focus on even in the case of absent teachers. And of course, this lets you run classes even when educators are absent in more greater detail. Okay, so within each lesson, you have the specific curriculum documents and their criteria involved, and what is being targeted for each lesson. So, of course, we'll have a look at how lessons are being created, as well as what are the aspects involved with lesson creation as well as lesson delivery. So, if I click on content creation, I will now see this. So if you did not attend the live stream yesterday, this is something that we touched on yesterday. This is called the interactive mapping feature. So the interactive mapping feature allows an educator to use any pedagogical styles of their choice. In this case, we are currently using the inquiry cycle pedagogy. So I can actually choose to edit the image, the map image, and I can also choose other types of maps that I would like to apply to my lesson. Or in this case, I would like to choose a different pedagogy to apply to my lesson. So in this case, I'll choose the flipped classroom pedagogy. So the flipped classroom, for those unaware, is a type of blended learning pedagogy where it divides lessons into a before section, a during class section, as well as an after section, where students can look at the before classroom components, and they can study beforehand, so that during classrooms you can focus on actually teaching as well as answering any questions involved with this lesson. So let me just change this back to the inquiry cycle pedagogy. So within each lessons, lessons are divided into points within our system, and this is used as a clear indicator of the separation of knowledge within each lesson. So one of the downsides of online learning that we found is that students tend to get lost within their own lesson. They tend to not know which part that they should be focusing on first. So using the interactive mapping feature, you can actually provide them as a means of self-guided learning, where there is a clear indication of the separation between lesson content. So in this case, the learner would know that they should focus on point A first. So let's scroll down, and we will then see this section here that looks like a tab. So this is what we call stages, and educators are empowered to create stages within their lesson. And of course, we also recommend educators to organize their lessons into stages. This provides a form of scaffolding of knowledge where lesson content is divided very clearly from start to end in easy, medium, as well as hard stages. So the learner are not fed with a giant wall of information at one go. They can choose at their own convenience of which stage they should start first. And finally, we have blocks. So a block contains images, videos, as well as audio files, and you can also choose to upload documents directly within blocks. And what this does is it provides learning content to learners in bite-sized chunks. So the learner is not bombarded with massive walls of text. The learning content is actually divided into bite-sized chunks for easy digestion, which is ironic because one of my images is actually a pizza, right? So you can choose to create multiple types of blocks. You can create lesson blocks, which provides you a means to upload lesson content. And you can choose to upload question blocks, which lets you insert different types of activities within your lesson. You can also choose to create a conference block. And what this does is it allows you to schedule virtual conference calls such as Zoom or Skype. And you can upload the conference software, conference links directly within your lesson. So your learner will not be lost in trying to search for, the link itself. They can actually find it directly within their own lesson, and they can click on it to start the call. So let me just delete this. Okay, so to recap, here you have the interactive mapping feature, which allows you to to use different pedagogies to suit your teaching style. And then you have the points, which separates your content very clearly within each lesson. As you can see here, I have 6 separate points. You can also choose to create stages, which lets you scaffold your lesson content from easy to medium to hard, so the learner is not bombarded with knowledge per se. And then you have the lesson block, which allows you to separate your lesson content into easily digestible chunks. So, of course, what we are currently viewing is from the educator point of view in the lesson builder or lesson creator itself. We will later on have a look at how a learner sees the lesson. So let me go ahead and click on save, and let's go back. So once lessons are created, it will directly be linked into the timetable of each classroom. So for example, for math lesson dashboard term 2, I can choose to create a link to my MYP level 1 class. And if I choose a date, I can see these are the dates available for me to link my lesson to. So if I choose 28, I can then link my lesson. Okay, so we have seen what the curriculum builder can do in not so much detail per se. This is actually a very simplified overview of what the curriculum builder does. So now let's have a look at Gradebook. So for those who are wondering, the curriculum builder and what it does, basically the question that we typically receive regarding the curriculum builder is how would I ensure that the correct person does the correct documents, or the correct person does the correct lessons. So the BeED LMS actually works through multiple roles, and roles are given in the admin panel. So in my current screen, if you look at the top left hand of the screen, you can see this small section over here. So I am currently in the role of educator. I'm also a head of department as well as a homeroom educator for class MYP class A. Okay, and apart from that, as an educator, you can also have a look at your daily schedules, in this case over here, and you can have a look at which lesson will happen at which specific time, as well as the class for the class that the lesson will be held in over here. Okay, so let's have a look at how grading works in the BeED LMS. So if I go ahead and click on this link, it will then take me to the learner feedback page. So currently I have 3 demo students within this class, and I'll go ahead and click on Sarah Sharisman over here. So The feedback between educator and learner, it happens in a one-to-one basis. So let me just go ahead and show you what it looks like. So if you've used forums like say Reddit and such, you may probably recognize what this looks like. So the educator and learner feedback actually happens one to one directly in a very, I would say, private manner. So educators and learners can have discussions directly in the gradebook or even through the app. And you can see that the learner will answer a question and you can provide feedback as a means to guide them towards the correct answer. So let me just change my point to point B. Okay, so over here, what you'll see is the learner provided the wrong response in the form of audio, and the educator has asked them to resubmit their answer. So in most normal situations, what happens is the educator can actually guide their learners towards the correct answer by providing feedback such as, please try this again, think about what so and so would do. That's sort of feedback. And the other way that the educator can provide a response is through annotating their files. So in this case, we have an answer document. And if I click on this icon and click on annotation, I can then provide annotations within the file for my learners to view later on. So in this case, for example, let me select this line. Okay, and I can then provide text over here. Such as this. Oops, sorry. Okay, so I can provide a textual response. I can also draw within the document. And if you look at the right hand side of my screen, I can also provide comments on feedback. Okay, as you can see here. So once I'm done, I can save and I can then click on the yellow icon for my learner to retry. Okay, so what this does is it actually clears up communication between educators and learners, and there are cases where the educators may tend to mark the questions in a more simplified manner or maybe in a more limited manner, and the learners might not know what they should focus on. So by annotating on the document, I can then target my learners, or rather, I can then aim my learners towards specific learning goals that I want. And this is where we'll have a look at how a learner views their lesson. So let me change my screen. And this is, I am currently in my learner point of view, where I am now in the schedule page of a learner. So I can see my class schedules. I can see that at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. I have the sciences, and this is the lesson that I should focus on, as well as the completion tracker, the deadline, and I can click on see grades to view grades given for this specific lesson. For now, let's have a look at the annotations that we've done earlier, and let's have a look at what it looks like within the lesson, provided I can remember which lesson I annotated on. Okay, so this is how a learner views their lesson. As mentioned before, you have the interactive mapping feature where a learner can directly go into the lesson, look at the points, and then click on the points in a more focused way so that they are not lost within their own lesson. They can then view the stages involved within each point as well as the lesson content. Okay, so for the annotations demonstration, let me click on point B. And let's have a look at the annotation that we've done earlier. So I can see that there is currently a little blue dot within this icon, which tells me that my response to one of the questions was incorrect. And if I have a look here, I can actually see that this document also has a blue dot, which tells me that there is currently an annotation within my document. And I can then go ahead and view the document. Okay, so this is how the annotation looks like to the learner. And I can then click on the specific sections of my document, and I can view my teacher's responses on the right hand side of the page. I can then reply to my educator's comments. And of course, I can also draw within the document itself. Okay, so let's get back to the educator's point of view. And so that is how the educator and learner interaction happens within the BeED LMS. You have the one-to-one interaction between educators and learners. So this keeps responses to your learners in a more privatized manner. And this is especially important for learners who are too shy to speak up within the classroom. And now let's get to the grades section of our LMS. Now let me click on grades and let me choose the class that I was working on. Okay, so this is what grades look like within the LMS, and in this case this is actually grading done based on the rubrics that we've seen earlier in Curriculum Builder. So as you can see, each lesson has their own rubrics involved within the lesson. In this case, we have the ATL skills involved. We also have the assessment rubrics and the learner skills. And if I click on here, and I click on, for example, ATL skills, I can also view what the criterias are and mark and grade my students according to the criteria. I can then include comments into the final grades section. And once this process is done, I can then generate a report card based on the comments as well as the final grades given to my learners. So the other aspect of the BeED LMS that you can have a look at is the grade overview section. So the grade overview allows you to visualize learner performance throughout a term, as well as throughout the academic year. So if I click on apply, this will then pull up the grade overview. Oops, seems that my internet's a little slow. Okay, so this is the grade overview page of the gradebook. What this does is it allows you to view your learner performance throughout the term as well as throughout the year. And as you can see here, we currently have 3 charts ready. And I can then view the learner performance. I can also download the image, the graph, to put in any reports that I would like to compile. And I can also download the source data, which comes up to you, to me, as a CSV document. And lastly, once I'm satisfied with my grading as well as my responses to my learners, I can then click on the report card section, and I can generate a report card for my learner. Everything directly done within the BeED LMS. Okay, so here it is. This is what a report card looks like to the learner. And you can see that this report card is specifically generated for term 1. You can include comments, and of course you can create signature boxes directly within the report card. And as a learner, the learner can then view which syllabus is involved as well as which learning objective is involved within each grading criteria. Okay, so that concludes our LMS demo for today. And once again, if you have any questions or any sections that you would like me to display to you, please do comment so in the chat, and I will immediately show you. I'll be more than happy to show you the specific sections that you'd like to see. So again, thank you very much for coming, everybody. And yeah, so we'll currently wait for any questions that you have, and I will then also scroll around the curriculum builder and try and create a simple lesson for you. So the other conclusion, the other thing that I'd like to mention is all of these things that you've seen within the LMS, it's actually available for you to see directly within our website. You can actually message us within the IB system as well as through the chat if you would like to get a hold of login information for demo accounts. Okay, so let me just create one very simple lesson for you. Okay, so as you create a lesson, you'll see that the interactive map is empty. So I'll go ahead and click on one. I'll go ahead and choose a map or a pedagogy style that suits my needs. Okay, in this case, we'll be doing a differentiated lesson. And since we have easy, medium, and hard sections, I will go ahead and create 3 points. Oops. Okay. Okay, so placing points within the LMS is actually quite simple. All you have to do is create a point and drag and drop to anywhere you want on the interactive interactive map. Okay, so let me go back to point A, and I'll create 2 stages. Here I'll choose the color blue, and I'll create a second stage. Okay, and I'll then add in a lesson block for my learners. I can then choose to add in images, videos, as well as audio files into my lesson. In this case, I'll add in one simple image over here, and I can then create one open response question. Okay, so this is what a question block looks like within the LMS. In this case, it's an open response question where the learner can respond to the question in an open manner. They can respond to the question in a short answer essay or a long answer essay. I can even include guides within my lesson, and this is so that learners are more empowered for self-guided learning. And of course, I can also include correct answer here. Oops. So the correct answer, you can choose to display the correct answer or to hide the correct answer from the learner. So the correct answer is only displayed to learners once they have responded to the question. So this is actually useful for other educators in the case of marking. So the other educators can have a look at the correct answer and they can then mark the question or the learner responses accordingly. I can also include max points achievable from this question. And I can choose to toggle on the plagiarism check for this question. So any documents submitted for this question will then go through a plagiarism check uh, directly within the system. This will also generate a report of sorts for the plagiarism check. Okay, so that's how a lesson is created within the LMS. Of course, it's a simple lesson. And yeah, if you have any questions, please do say so in the chat, or you can also private message us in the IB conference. So thank you everybody for coming, and I'll end this stream here. Have a great day, and do enjoy yourselves in the IB conference. I hope you've learned a thing or two in my live stream, as well as within the conference itself. Have a great day, everybody.